Good evening. Welcome to Balance Orlando. Today is our 10th and final session of the Rolfing 10 series. I want to thank everybody that has watched all the videos so far. Today is kind of like a free for all session. We're not going to try to fix any one particular thing. We're going to take more of a general, holistic approach. And before we start, I want to touch in with Devil and ask how you felt 2 weeks ago when we finished session 9.
I felt great, and I've been feeling great ever since. I've had a lot of energy, and I had to travel, and usually that kind of bothers me a lot. But I mean, sitting still on the plane and everything, and everything was fine, like the whole thing. And I walked a lot. I was in DC, and so there was a lot of walking, and everything was great.
That's good to know. That's good to know because Rolf session 9 involved the upper body. And so sometimes there can be soreness, but usually after several sessions, your body kind of gets used to the Rolfers, the structural integrators, pressure and touch, so there should be less and less discomfort. So
I make sure to drink extra water on the days that you're working on me too.
Good to know. So we're going to start, and Devil, the back of your head's going to be right here. Your heels will be slightly off the table. We're going to first work with Devil on her back, and I'm just going to start at her feet and just see what her feet are like. And it's not a very deep session per se. It's just kind of figuring out what needs to be just slightly modified. And again, there's a little bit of tension, a little bit more soreness in the left inner heel than the right, but we're not going to change that today. But feel free to come back in a month or two or whenever you'd like for your post 10 series sessions. The door is always open. So as I stated before, I'm going to start with the feet because the feet are the beginning point of the connective tissue that go from the Achilles tendon to the calf muscles to the hamstrings to the buttocks and then to the lower back. You pass the test very easily for the banana test, so this is good. The feet feel very nourished. And now just after a couple more strokes, I'm going to work on both sides of your tibia. And I like how I can take Devil's leg, put it into neutral, and it doesn't feel like I have to exert that much pressure at all to put her foot in neutral. So I've just touched in with your feet, and now I'm going to slowly progress up to your head. And right now, my knuckles are on both sides of the tibia. And if you'd like, I'd like you to flex and extend your right foot. And I'm just making sure that the tibia is pointed right down the middle. Kneecap is right down the middle. And while she's doing that, I can see what's happening with her foot, if it wants to go off on an angle or not. It looks pretty good, and we're going to stop right here. I'm just going to make a slight adjustment to just very minor to the outside of your right heel. And any soreness or tightness here?
It tickles a little bit.
Okay.
Actually. So, yes.
So when I had your tibia right down the middle of the table where the kneecap was pointing straight up to the ceiling, I saw the foot slightly kind of veer off to the left. And so I'm just going to make just a gentle hydration to the outer or lateral ankle. So there might be a little bit of tension, but my intention is not to put that much pressure on or go deep. We're going to start again. I'm going to have you to flex and extend, and the foot already is looking better. We're just going to do one more pass, and here we go. Would you say it's tighter on your outer lower leg? This is what I'm feeling as well. Excellent, and thank you. Now I noticed that your big toe, I have to put the military goggles on. When I was seeing you before the video shoot started, we talked about this before. Mm-hmm. The foot, the big toe slightly going in. So just remember that the connective tissue between the two big toes need love and attention, just to separate the two big toes and just to give some nice love and attention to the connective tissue. So this might be a little bit uncomfortable, but do it every day, especially if you're wearing shoes that are closed, that are narrow. So if you're not wearing your Birkenstocks, or if you're not walking barefoot.
I almost never wear narrow shoes. I always get wide shoes. So
excellent.
I don't, my shoes are, I go with comfortable shoes.
So you can probably feel a little bit of discomfort here, but that's okay. The key is just to make sure where there are opportunities for growth in your body, places where we can still see some more growth, and at that point, the foot is looking better. I'm now going to work on your quadricep muscle. And one thing I like to do is have you take your left knee into your chest with your hands. And I'm just looking at, does Debo's quadricep muscle want to go out or want to kind of pop up? It does not. This is good. So I'm just going to just hang out here. You just put a little bit of pressure on the quadricep muscles. Any soreness or tightness where my knuckles are?
Just the slightest. It's not uncomfortable at all.
Okay. Now you can slowly come off. Now we're going to work and kind of touch in a little bit with the psoas before we wish it goodbye for the next couple of months. I'm just right medial to Debo's ASIS. It feels very accessible. You kind of my elbow, my ulna just sinks into just medial to the iliacus.
Yeah, I kind of barely feel you.
And if you wanted to, you can take your knee, your right knee, into your chest. Oops, sorry about that. Let's take the other right knee to your chest. So we're going to place this one down and take this right knee into our chest.
Oh, with you there.
Yes, and come on back. And two more times. Good. And last time. Thank you. Okay, so we're done with this left lower part of your body for right now. Let's work on the right side of your lower body. Now let's work with the left side. If you received a B plus for the banana test, you probably get a C for this foot.
Yeah,
you still passed though.
This is my clutch. It's a lot better. I mean, it's still a little tender when I first wake up in the morning, but it is so much better. I have gone days without noticing it.
So what I'm feeling is you probably already know from watching the videos is that the right bottom of the foot feels a little bit more expansive, while the left bottom of the foot feels a little bit tighter and less expansive. So I'm going to pretend like I'm making pizza dough. You know, I'm from Chicago, and I like deep dish pizza. And I'm imagining an invisible line right down the middle of the foot, and I'm just giving it space, just like this. Do you feel any soreness or tightness when I do that? I feel tightness right on the outside part of your foot.
Yeah.
And where there is tightness is right in the middle of the foot, right on the lateral side. So that means I need to, as I progress up Debo's body, I need to be a little bit more aware of what's happening on the outer part or the lateral part of her lower leg. So again, taking Debo's leg in a neutral position, I'm going to have you just slowly extend and flex your foot. And again, just like the right side is a little bit more tightness on the outer side, the lateral side. But I like the movement of her foot and the placement of her left foot compared to her right foot. Just a couple more times. And thank you. Okay, so I'm going to re-examine the bottom of the foot, see what's happening, see if we can go from a C to at least a B minus. And I think we've probably gone from a C to about a B minus. I can still feel the tightness. So I didn't address this on the right side, but what I will do is to work on the calf muscle now. And you might experience some future laughing. Just giving you FYI. Can you feel the tightness in here? Can you tell our audience what you're feeling?
It tickles.
Okay, it tickles. It feels a little tight.
Yeah, it definitely is tight. That's why it tickles.
Okay. So what I like to use, especially for my clients and for myself, who sometimes after a long tennis match or walking in Paris for 3 or 4 hours, is to use something called the Beastie Ball. You can use a baseball. I like to use something like the Beastie Ball and just put it right and just lay on it and just get comfortable and let my calf muscle just kind of soak into.
Tennis ball?
Tennis ball, I think for you might be too soft. You probably need something that's a little bit more firm.
What about a foam roller?
Yeah.
It's a hard foam roller.
Yes, I like a foam roller with the with the little knobs. I call them like 100 thumbs.
Yeah.
And you can feel here that feels still very tight.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's loosened up enough that it's past the tickling stage.
Now you can see here's the right calf muscle. Can you tell our audience what you're feeling?
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing. So that's why I like to start with the bottom of the foot. If the bottom of the foot, if I can make the shape of a banana, 99 times out of 100, that calf muscle will also be very comfortable, very relaxed. But when there's a lot of tightness on the bottom of the foot, remember the connective tissue starts at the bottom of the foot, goes through the ankle, and to the calf muscle. So your homework after the 10 series is to continue massaging your bottom of the feet, especially before and after a workout. Just one more time. And what I want you to do right now is just some movement. I want you just to flex and extend. And while she's doing that, I'm taking my knuckles and slowly going right down the middle of her calf muscle from her knee to her ankle. Good. Another 20 seconds. Excellent. Great breathing, Debo. And last time. Thank you so much. So I haven't really touched your inner heel, but just by working on both the bottom of your foot, which has now gone to like a B from a C just within a couple minutes, and also worked on the bottom or your calf muscle, your inner heel feels a lot better. So just one more time, just for like 20, 30 seconds, I want you to flex and extend your foot and a little bit slower. We'll do this for like another 10 seconds. 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Thank you. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is have you take your your right knee into your chest. And now I'm looking at the quad muscle. It doesn't want to rotate out. It barely wants to come up, so this is good. I'm just going to do some palpation. And as we discovered in session 8, there's a little bit more tightness on this upper quad. So what you can do right now is take your hands off your knee and extend your leg. Good. And now take the knee back into your chest. Good. And come on back. We'll do this about 4 more times. Good. 3 more times. Any soreness or pain besides?
No pain, but I definitely can feel that it's tighter.
Okay. 2 more times. I'm just going to add one more rep to our exercise. Good. Excellent. And relax. Thank you. Getting even better in terms of making the shape of a banana on your left foot. So what I'd like you to do now is to place your right foot on the table. And I'm going to work right on Devil's left quadricep muscle. What I'm also doing is, since I have access to Devil's left leg, is I'm going right out, just right on the outer part of her tibia, making sure that the kneecap is pointing straight to the ceiling. Now you're probably asking why I didn't do that on the other side. It didn't need it. The quadricep felt good. It felt very hydrated. Didn't feel tight. So now what I'd like you to do, Debo, is to extend your leg and take your knee back into your chest. And extend your leg. Good. Let's do that 3 more times. 1. 2. And 3. Hold it right there for about 5 seconds. Thank you. And extend your leg. Last time, checking the bottom of your foot. Much better. But still, that is your homework on a daily basis, right before and after a workout. You feel a little tightness right by your heel when I go
Yes.
down. Okay.
It's not nearly as tender as it was.
What about on the right side? Not so much?
No,
Not as much as the left side.
but like way not as much as the left side.
Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to work, just briefly touch in with the left psoas major. When Dubbo was standing up, I was palpating the ASIS and noticed that from the stitching of her shorts to her umbilicus, linea alba, sternum, and chin were all in alignment. So I immediately went to and palpated just inside of the ASIS and noticed that there wasn't a difference in height, nor was there a difference in pressure inside of the ASIS. And it's very easy to just come in and just sink in. There's very little tension. Okay. So now what we're going to do is in a couple of moments, Debo is going to slowly come off the table and take a walk. Okay, Debo has come off the table and she's going to take a walk and tell us how she feels.
You want me to do it like last time where I'm like walking at attempting normal speed
And
at a short distance?
yes, with a soft gaze and you're looking forward.
Okay.
Good. Still walking in the sagittal plane. Good foot placement. It looks very natural. Now let's look at the Achilles tendons. They're right on point. They're pointing forward. And I'm happy. Tell me, how do you feel in your left quad versus your right quad, if you feel any difference at all?
I do, and I mean, I notice a difference. I would say the left one is still a little tighter, because I can feel like this one just seems to swing a little more.
The right side swings easier.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, it's not discomfort, but I definitely notice the difference when you ask.
Okay. What we're going to do now is I want you to walk partly to the door. And right now I'm going to, nope, you're going to stay right there and your feet are going to be hip width apart. And I'm just going to check in, place my thumbs right on top of the scapula, on top of the infraspinatus. I'm sure that's still a little tight and sore.
So good, though.
Okay. But there's good shoulder mobility. That's what I'm checking for. Good. And now let's check the left side. Good. And now both sides. Yes, ma'am.
Is it my imagination, but it seems like my lower left side is tight and my upper right side is tight?
Lower left leg is tight in general?
Just in general, like my lower left side is tighter than my lower right side, and my upper right side is tighter than my upper left side.
No, I'd say your upper left shoulder is tighter than the right side. So the right back of your shoulder might be more painful when I put pressure, and it feels like there's more discomfort.
Yeah.
But on the left side, you can see it doesn't.
Like the arm doesn't swing as easy. Okay.
Well, the arms are swinging easy, but yes, the right arm does swing a little bit easier versus the left, but I have to put more pressure on the left side to have it swing. But the great thing is, one test I do is I just take in the direction going down and in towards the spine. How easy is it to take those shoulders together and without any help, and you're moving very well. So I'm happy about that. We're going to now come back on the table with your head up, and you're going to you're going to be laying on your back. Now I'm going to work on your upper body. So Debo has come back on the table. We finished the walk. She's in a neutral position. And what I'm going to do now is just gently press her shoulders into the table to see how well they sink into the table. So the right side for right now, for today, feels easier to sink into the table than the left. What are you thinking?
I can tell that is true.
Okay. And a lot of the tightness is right
Yep.
in here. So if there's tightness in the front, that means I'm definitely going to check what's happening in the back, that balancing muscle. But first, what I'm going to do is we're going to do something through movement. I'm going to have you start with your hands right to the side in a neutral position. I'm going to start at the sternum, and I'm going to have you to do a snow angel. Good. And stop, and come on back. And again. Does one side feel tighter than the other? Because I'm not feeling it. A couple more times.
Those feel pretty even.
Okay. I'm feeling just the slightest of tightness, a little bit more on the left side, especially as I go closer towards your shoulder joint.
There.
And I want you to do that 2 more times. I'm now underneath Devil's neck, right on top of or right in the groove in her neck, but right next to the clavicle. So there's a little bit more tightness on your left side when I was pressing into your clavicle. So let's start with the right side. While you were standing up, I looked at your arm, and the arm looked very straight. So I know you do some computer work, so I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to see how easy it is to put your hand in neutral or your arm in neutral.
Yes, that is my mouse hand.
It is your mouse hand. Do you do any exercises for your hand after a long day?
It's just stretching, like holding the tops of my fingers and
against the wall, or against your other hand?
Using my other hand. And,
okay.
Like using my left hand, and I'll kind of pull them back. Our yoga teacher had said that was good for wrist stretching.
Mm-hmm. Any tightness right in here?
Right
here.
Yep.
So I've worked the outside of your arm. I felt a little tightness right by the wrist. And so I know if there's tightness on the front side, there's going to be tightness on the back. And I can feel how there's a little bit of tightness on the back side. Just one more time. Okay. Now, I'm going to have you place your right hand on your head. And what we're going to do now is I can work on your tricep. So I want you to, right there is fine. I'm going to have you to gently extend that hand to the ceiling. Good. And come on back. Tell the audience if there's any soreness, any tightness.
It's a little bit tender.
Tender by the elbow, or as I go closer to the shoulder?
Mm-hmm. But see that second one, it didn't feel as tender. So whatever you did on the first one already helped.
Okay. Just a couple more times. And last time, and hold it right there. Good. Come on back. Now what we're going to do is to work on your back. So I'm going to have you take a nice inhale, and I want you to exhale. And as she's exhaling, I'm starting just lateral to the spine and then going towards Devil's scapula. Good. And now I'm really going to work on the rhomboids. So when you exhale, turn your head to the left. Good. Let's just do that 2 more times. Inhale. and exhale. Thank you. Come on back. Last time. Inhale and exhale. Any soreness or tightness? I'm right at
This
the...
feels really good.
Okay, so stay there. And just one more time. Inhale and exhale. Thank you. And slowly come back. Now I'm going a little bit lateral, right on top of the deltoid, the infraspinatus. You're going to place your hand here. You're going to reach to the ceiling twice. Good. What are you feeling now? Because when you were standing up and I placed my thumb there, remember how there's a lot of tightness?
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt or anything, you know?
I want you to reach now to the left wall. Good. Come on back. Now I want you to reach to the mirror while turning your head to the left. So this is where there typically is a little bit more tightness, which I'm feeling.
I feel it, but it just feels really good what you're doing.
Okay, let's just do that one more time. Come on back.
So it feels kind of like just a good deep tissue massage where, you know, sometimes when it's tense, it actually hurts a little bit, but this just feels really good.
Good, and slowly come back with your head. And typically after I work with the tricep, I like to work in that space between the bicep and tricep. And today, it's very smooth. It's like I'm sailing down the Mississippi River and I'm not experiencing any large rocks. Good. I'm going to place your hand here, and the last time I'm going to work right underneath your rib. You have a really good breath, but I just wanted to say goodbye to your ribs. Take a nice inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And just one more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now we're going to take your hand back into a neutral position. I want you to raise your head, come back down. And now we're going to see what's happening with the right shoulder and left shoulder. Still, the right shoulder feels very good. Feels easy to press down. And what's interesting is the left shoulder feels just as good as the right. Before, the left shoulder felt a little bit tighter.
It's all connected.
You are correct. But just where my palm is we're definitely where I need to work.
Yep.
So let's start with, we're going to now come on the other side, work with Debbie's left arm and shoulder. And I'm going to ask Debbie to place her left hand on her head. And we're going to do the same movement. I'm going to have Debbie to extend her hand to the sky. And come on back. And again. And again. Can you remember if this side feels a little bit tighter than the other side or about the same? So the left side does feel a little bit tighter.
Yes.
Good. Okay. And extend. And just 2 more times. Good, and hold it right there. Good, and relax. So you barely use your left hand for the mouse, correct?
Yeah, never.
And so what I'm doing again is I like to call this sailing down the river, right in that space, that groove that separates the bicep and tricep.
Probably what I do most with my left hand that I don't do with my right hand is the steering wheel, because I have a stick shift.
Yes.
I mean, when I'm not shifting, I'm using both hands, but in traffic and stuff, my right hand will rest on the stick shift for a while because it's a lot of shifting.
Okay. Your left arm feels really good. The only tightness is just right by the wrist, just like your right side. Right where my thumb is, there's a lot of tightness. So that you know where I'm going to go next. I'm going to go on the opposite side. And I'm just coming right here, coming back down. I feel I can get like a better grip and hold. Pressure okay, Devo? Good. And I come back, and already that feels a lot looser. Still a little tight right there.
Yeah, but it's definitely less.
Again, you can get really caught up with working on individual spots, and I have to kind of catch myself right now. That's not the goal. The goal is to take that left shoulder down just a little bit by releasing the triceps, releasing the muscles right by the wrist. And now we're going to go on the back of the body, starting from the spine and heading out from the spine to the scapula. Okay, let's take a deep inhale and exhale. And she's exhaling. Oh, that's nice. That's a new move. Thank you.
Didn't I do that last time?
We did a snow angel while you did that, but you please continue to do that. I like that. Good. Come on back. We're slowly going up from her spine, like her upper thoracic spine. Now I'm like almost at C7. Good. Now let's continue to move. Take your head back into a neutral position and inhale. And exhale. So already it feels a little bit easier on this left side to come back. What is your experience, Devil, as you turn your head to the right? Two more times.
Like I feel you more on this side.
And you feel more pressure?
Yeah, I just...
And come on back.
It must be like if I feel more pressure. I mean, I just feel you more on the left side than I did on the right. So, must still be buttoned up against something. But it doesn't hurt. I mean, again, it feels like a good deep tissue massage. Oh my God, that feels great.
So we know from standing up that there might be more pain in the right scapula, right in that muscle, the infraspinatus, but it has more shoulder mobility, while the left doesn't have the shoulder mobility like it is on the right side. So we know also that the left shoulder is slightly more medially or internally rotated. So as I go down the river, I'm trying to pin almost like that, her double shoulder back into the table. So I can do some more tricep work, but since this is the last session, I really don't want to do very particular work on one part of the body or one section of the body. But what I will do is I'm going to have you place your hand on your left chest. I'm going to find where your medial border is of your scapula and go a little bit more lateral. And now I want you to reach your left hand to the sky. Good. And come on back. And how is that pressure?
The pressure's good.
And let's do it again. Does it feel tighter on this side?
It does. It feels like you're not sinking in as easily.
And that's exactly, keep on going, that's exactly what I felt when Debo was standing in our standing analysis. Good. Excellent. Thank you. Now I want you to go 2 times to your right. And as she's crossing over, I'm going from the medial part of your scapula to, let's do that one more time, to the outer part. Good. Now, what we're going to do now is you're going to turn your head to the right while extending to the left. Come on back and extend. Good, and last time. And hold it right there. Thank you. Come on back. We'll work again between the bicep and tricep. So when I was first pressing Debo's shoulders into the table, we found that the left side was a little bit harder to press down. I needed more force. And this is where I felt it mostly, right in here. So I'm just going to kind of come in, pin it, and slowly go into that space between the bicep and tricep. I want you to gently place your hand back on your head, and just 2 times I want you to extend, take your hand to the sky. And last time. And I want you to hold it when you reach the top. Good. Come on back. And now we're going to work on your last rib in the front of your body, like we did on the right side. Okay, I want you to take a deep inhale and exhale. And inhale. And last time, inhale. Good. So one of the last things I'm going to do now is to do the snow angel on both sides, kind of revisit that same movement exercise we did about 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to have Debo's hands to her hips in a neutral position. I want you to raise your head, come back down. Okay, let's do a snow angel 3 times. Let's slowly come out to about right there and come back. And I'm right between the ribs, right in that cartilage. Let's just do that 2 more times. I'm going to go right above the clavicles. Remember, where there are bones, there's connective tissue. And now I'm going to go right underneath into the neck. Good. Let's come back. And in a couple of moments, we're going to take the table down and have Debo to come up from the table onto a standing position and walk. And let's kind of coordinate both the top and bottom of our body. So slowly come up. So now Debo is off the table and we've worked on her lower body. Now we've just finished working on the upper body. And I really like the symmetry in your body. Even with military goggles on to try to find something, the only thing I can see, the only thing is that the left heel tends to come in a little bit more than your right side. Other than that, the symmetry is awesome.
I feel like my arms, like I almost feel like there's a magnet repelling, like they're just like the way that they're hanging is so. I don't know. It's so hard to explain. I don't know if people watching will understand this, but like, and it feels great. It just
Yes.
They feel like they're kind of floating.
Do your arms feel long?
Yeah, they feel. I don't know. They feel like they feel like they're floating. It's great. It's wild.
So let's go for a walk, our normal pace with a soft gaze, looking forward, and tell us how you feel.
That was kind of a slow pace.
What I like is that you were mentioning before where you didn't feel like your left shoulder wasn't moving back as much, but your arms are moving very well.
Yeah.
And they're moving in a sagittal plane. So let's just walk one more time.
They feel like they're floating. I'm telling you.
Good. And come on back. Let's stop right here and let's walk just 3 paces. And here we go. We're going to walk 3 paces right here. Good. And now Debo's feet are hip width apart. And I'm now just going to, with the same pressure, I'm like pressing in a lot easier into the infraspinatus. That's a really good shoulder mobility. Left side actually is moving very well as well. Good. Excellent. Sometimes when the infraspinatus muscles are kind of stiff, one exercise I like to do is have a client come here with the fist and just slowly extend the hands just like that. Yes, come on back. And we'll do that 3 times. Here we go. Good. 1, 2, and 3. So it still feels a little bit tighter on the left side, and you can relax. What was your experience?
Yes,
Debo?
the same.
Okay. Very good. I don't see a rotation in the hips. So now what we're going to do is work on your hips. Speaking of hips, so we'll stop right here and I'll get the table set up. So Debo is back on the table and we're going to conclude with some hip work. But before we do, and since she's in a side position, we're going to place her hand on her head, elbow pointing towards the ceiling, and we're going to extend. And what I'd like to do is just to do some work in the rotator cuffs and also in her quadratus lumborum. So let's begin. And I want you, Debo, to extend your hand towards the door. Good. Come on back. And so if the elbow starts to come in towards away from me, I can always just guide it. Any soreness or tightness here? Debo. Good. And last time. Thank you. Place your hand right there. We're going to now continue with the quadratus lumborum and extend again. Good. Keep on going. Now, I want you to continue to extend. I'm going to give Debo some more space between her last rib and her hip. Good. Just 2 more times. 1. And 2. And now place your hand anywhere you want to. Now we're going to work on the medial gluteus medius and maximus. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to have your knees together, and I want you just to extend your top leg. And we're right on the hip, and we're going to extend. Excellent. So now we're going to continue, but I'm going to work more specifically on the gluteus maximus. One thing I like about Debo's right gluteus or gluteal muscles is that they're very hydrated, and my elbow and ulnar just sink into the buttocks. So this is very good. And come on back. I'm just going to see where there's tightness, and I apologize for any laughing.
You know, I don't feel like laughing. It's all right there. I do.
Mm-hmm.
You found that spot.
I can find the spot. And right now, my hand is between the gluteus medius and maximus, so we're going to make a clamshell about 4 times. And whenever you're ready, young lady. So I'm just having a downward force and just slowly going from more the top part of her hip all the way down to her sacrum. Good.
You know, I was marveling at how unticklish I was, but you had to find the spot.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Come on back. Very good range of motion. Just know that when you're at the gym, it's always nice to foam roller both the gluteus maximus and medius. The gluteus maximus feels very good. I don't feel any trigger points. It's just in the medius where there's a little bit of tightness. So just be aware of that for future workouts.
Yes.
And slowly now turn over onto your right side. So we have worked on Debo's right side, and now we're going to save the best for last and work on the left shoulder, left hips, especially since this left shoulder is just slightly internally rotated compared to the right shoulder. So like we did last time, we're going to place Debo's left hand on her head, and she is going to extend her hand out and come back. And so here we go, towards the door. 1, 2, and 3. So already I'm feeling a little bit more tightness just as I just sink in right by her armpit. She's doing all the work. Let's just go 3 more times. And I'm looking at the elbow, making sure that's pointing towards the ceiling, which it is. Excellent. And last time. Thank you. Good. Come on back. I want you now to continue extending your hand to the door as I work in the quadratus lumborum. More on the proximal attachment, which is the 12th rib. It's very accessible. So now I want you to continue to expand, and I'm going to give you a little bit more space between the rib and the hip. Good. So I'm almost like using the hip as a hook for my arm. Good. And just one more time. That's a good speed too for you, Devil. Thank you so much. And place your hand anywhere you want to. Now we're going to check the movement in the hip. Feels very good, but I know, and I've already found one spot. Are you ready? It's right there. So we're going to do some clamshells right now. But before I do that, we're going to do some extension on this knee here. And I'm going to have you to extend right now. Good, keeping the knees together. Two more times. One. Double, how are we doing? Okay, and continue to extend. Now I'm going to work primarily on the gluteus maximus. Now I'm receiving some resistance. Good. Thank you for the deep breath. Two more times. I like the way she's slowing down as there is more resistance. Thank you. And now we're going to come in, we're going to do a clamshell, working on the gluteus medius. So still right in here is where we're having the most tightness and tension. So I'm going to have you to gently, let's do a clamshell a couple times. Good. A couple more times. How are we doing, Debo? Good. Two more times. And last time. Thank you. Let's examine better. Still knowing that there's some tightness right in here. I'm going to have you extend just two more times. Hold it right there if you don't mind for 5 seconds. And come on back. Much better, but knowing that there's still work needs to be done. This is not the session to take it to 100%. This is for future workouts at the gym. And now we'll conclude with a sacral cradle. So you're going to lie back on your back. So we have finished working on both sides of Debo's hips, and we'll conclude with the sacral cradle. My hand, as you know from previous sessions, is placed underneath the sheet right on Debo's sacrum. And what I want Debo to do is to take nice deep inhales through her nose, exhales through her mouth. And what I'm feeling already is when she inhales, the sacrum is expanding in my hand. And when she is exhaling, it contracts. Let's do that just 3 more times. Good. Continue to breathe. Do not raise your hips. And now extend your legs. And as we began, already I feel a softness in the heels, the inside of the heels. Just checking the softness in the calf muscles. A little bit softer on the left calf muscles, but knowing that work needs to be done. So almost every day, or right, I know you work out a lot, like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
4 times a week. And even if you're doing a lot of walking, make sure that you massage your feet, massage your calf muscles. And I want to thank you for being a good sport, and thank you for your perseverance. Thank you for your honesty, your intelligence, your confidence, for coming over the last 20 weeks, over the last 10 sessions, Debo. And feel free to give me and Balance Orlando a call and tell us how you're doing over the next couple of weeks. Thank you to our videographer, Mr. Chase, for your time and for your patience every Monday at 6 p.m. And if there are any questions, please feel free to contact us. We wish you a good evening. Thank you.